Hi and good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It's good evening where I am, and I hope you are doing well. It's Thursday, and we are on the 21st of August. My name is JP, and welcome to our Getting Started with Brizy Cloud webinar. Okay, I'm glad to see you host the webinar. That is important for me. Great. And we already have people in the room. Tonight, we really have a small group, or today, we really have a small group. And I encourage you to ask questions. You can leave that in the comment section if you have any. So what are we going to tackle tonight? First, my name is JP. Like I've mentioned, you see my full name there. The photo looks so much different. I shaved. My hair is longer now. I almost don't recognize myself. When I look in the mirror, it's okay. When you see a photo of yourself, always so different. What we're going to tackle tonight is a jam-packed crash course within less than an hour of how you can set up a website very, very quickly in Brizy Cloud to give you that overall idea of how Brizy Cloud works. And that is going to take you from the beginning to the end. And I think we'll probably touch on that again near the end. Why is this so important? Is because Brizy Cloud versus other platforms like WordPress in particular is a one-stop solution. You don't need to have hosting. You don't need to bring in plugins. We're talking about multilingual websites. You can create great SEO, everything of that, forms, integration, everything is there in a one-stop solution for you. And that is ideal for a big market of websites out there. Perhaps for some others, you will still need platforms like WordPress if you have a specific plugin that you're focused on. But let's look tonight at what Brizy Cloud can do, and then you can have that experience as well. And remember to try out the trial if you've never tasted Brizy Cloud at all. And if you have, go and have a look again at all these great features. I have 15 points that we're going to run through. So Archie also said hello from Chicago. And Archie, welcome, and for the rest of you there as well. As always, this video or this webinar is being recorded and it will be shared afterwards. It will also be posted on social media platforms so you can watch it again. I say platforms, but it's actually only YouTube. So you can watch it again if you need to run off to business. For those of you who have to put kids to bed or get kids to school, then don't worry, everything is recorded. About the questions, if we run out of time near the end, don't worry. In the follow-up newsletter, I will also look into those questions that are pertaining to this webinar and see what we can answer for you. Everything will be there in a follow-up email with all the links included. Right, so let's take a very nice approach to what we are going to do tonight. And I quickly just want to show you where we are going to start off and kind of end with. This is what we call a starter site, a template that has been created within Brizy Cloud. And we're going to be working with this. I'm going to show you how quickly it is to get to this point. And this is what we want to achieve, plus personalize it and customize it for ourselves. I think at this point, I'm just going to hop on over to a little bit of a bigger real estate so you can see more. So we looked at this. This is me. This is our agenda for the evening. I'll close out this tab, and this is where we're going to work. And where we all start, and this is our second part, is you need to sign up for Brizy Cloud. And you can also sign up whether you want to use a package or you just want to try a free trial. But for all of this, you need to head on over to brizy.io. And there's loads here. You know, we recently added Brizy shops to Brizy Cloud. So if you are interested in e-commerce solution, one stop for your Brizy Cloud platform as well, that's also there. Loads of new stuff coming. I just looked today at one of the new features that is rolling out within a week or so that I'm very excited about because it includes something for my eyes. That's all I'm going to say. But let's talk again about the login. What you need to do is go to your products over here and you go to Brizy Cloud and you can have a look at everything that is Brizy Cloud. I'll just click on this. And then from here on, you can start your free trial if you've not tried it. Maybe you signed up for a free trial before, you didn't have time. I always think trials can be so difficult. You sign up for a free trial and then you get to a point that you're just so busy or you don't have a need for that at that moment. And then later on, you don't want to sign up for it again. But go ahead, you can request another one, try it again. If you have it there, you know, tucked away somewhere and you want to try it again, then you go ahead and sign up for any of these. So I'll click here on View Pro Pricing, and there are a number of packages that you can look at. There's the personal, which is great if you just want that, what I call the yellow page one out there for your personal with a custom domain. And then as your business grows and as you work with clients, or if you have an agency, you have these other packets that platforms and packages that work for you, from agency, white label, and then huge all the way to enterprise. And these are really popular, also ones that you can consider. But let's start with this and say you have signed up for this one here. You've bought a personal. And once you've done that, you go again here to the login in the top right corner. And that brings us to step 3 in this quick getting started guide. And that means you've signed up and now you log in. Once you log in, it takes you to your Brizy Cloud account. So this is still at the Brizy website, and this is your account. And you can see that I have a lifetime deal here for the Agency Cloud Limited, long time ago. And then I also have a shop business license that I've added here. And if you have also bought a Brizy WordPress license, this will also appear here. So this is your one-stop where all your products are nicely grouped together and you can work with them. Then to access and log into Brizy Cloud, it always happens from here. So you go to Brizy Cloud, click on that, and that brings you into Brizy Cloud. And this is how it should look the very first time that you have signed up for Brizy Cloud. This is your Brizy Cloud dashboard. The previous one is your account. This one is your Brizy Cloud dashboard. And the great thing about this dashboard, imagine creating many, let's call it unlimited websites, and they are all here. No need for you to every time log in for each independent website and go through the login procedure and remember their passwords. They are all here and they all will appear here. Tonight we're going to create our first one, but in the future there are many here. And if you've signed up for one of the plans, you get unlimited free websites with a Brizy.site extension that you can create here to play around with. And that's what I'm going to do. But then depending on the plan that you have purchased, you can also bring in your custom domains. But I want to show you a few things here that's very important. Notice the flag up here. We're constantly making changes to this. In the past, it was just English, but look at all these languages that you can switch to and bring the interface right to the language that you need and that you use. And if yours doesn't appear here and you need it, you just reach out to our support and have a chat with them. Let's go something that will really blow our mind. Well, this is Japanese. And look at that, how easily it switched, and you can use it the way that you are used to within your native language, and that makes sense for you. I'll switch back. I'm going to put it on English UK, which is the closest for me. But if you see, even we have differentiation between English US and Canada. So you can really set up the interface to the language that is going to best suit you. The other thing I want to point out here is this part up here, which is workspaces. This is a folder system in which you can create websites. So if you work with a specific client that has various websites, you can create these folders and put them in there. And then per folder, per workspace, you can assign members. So not only you can also add other people to it, and you can assign roles to them, whether they are an editor, whether they are a manager. And then the big one, this is our projects. Now, when you see the word project, it can be a website and it can be a pop-up. And you will see up here also stories. And we're not going to look at pop-ups. We're not going to look at stories. There is so much that we're not going to look at tonight. We're really just scratching the surface. And this is the dashboard. If you have many projects here, you have a filter up here in which you can sort them. But let's go ahead and let's get to our step 5 for tonight. And that is, how do we start a new project? Right. I just want to jump back here. Right, Johnny, I just quickly want to say hello again to people who have joined us. We have Johnny from CA, California, right? I'm not always very good with the abbreviations for the US. I apologize for that. Tian from SA Western Cape. Hey, Tian, I'm over here in Stellenbosch, so good evening to you as well. For 10 domains, that's great. That was your lifetime deal, Ashfaq, right? That's great, man. Christopher, okay, Christopher, support email. This is the only last thing missing from my old hosting. Does Brizy Cloud support email? You mean email integration? I know this is one of those big features, Christopher, that is often asked. I think it's something that the team is working on, but this is something that I will have to get a definite answer for you on. As I'm sitting here, I cannot say for myself. Would be a great feature. Totally agree on that. Wow, CJ, I have 150 Brizy Cloud accounts. Looking forward to working with all of my new clients. Whoa, much. It's great, CJ, seeing that. Really, really exciting. I'm thinking as I'm sitting here, I'm a WordPress user first and foremost, and I've used many page builders in my life. And I remember when Brizy Cloud first came out. For a year, I knew we had this product, and I looked at it and people were talking about it like, what is this now? Really, I wasn't really interested in it. And sorry, I have a little busy one here at my leg. And then what happened is that we started doing videos on it, and I started looking into it like, man, what an amazing platform. So a lot of the websites I currently do, I will alternate between WordPress and Cloud, but so many of the people I've made websites for, Cloud is perfect for it, and it is just so easy. Great. So with that out of the way, let's jump back. And for those of you that already have Brizy Cloud and are working with Brizy Cloud, what I'm going to show you tonight is not anything really big, but it's often just good to have a good walkthrough with it again. Let's start with a new project, and this has changed so much. You're going to create a website or a pop-up or a story, and these two we can cover in future webinars because there's a lot going on here. Even when I select website, there's a lot going on here. You can start from scratch, and this is usually the way I go. Then we have this new feature which we've brought in the last few years is generate with AI, and then we have start with the template. And for tonight, we are going to click on start with a template. And there are over 100 plus templates, and we're adding new ones all the time to keep up with trends, make it look modern, make your website relevant. They are added here, and we've added categories here at the top as well. Go through this really. I always tell people the downside of a template is if you don't know the builder and you just install a template and you start working with it, you're going to mess it up. You do need to learn how to use the builder to know how to make changes to the template. Otherwise, it's just too overwhelming. But if you know how to use the builder and and we have so many tutorials on YouTube for that, then this is a breeze, right? So let's say you have a look here and you see this template over here. You can click on preview design. It will open a tab for you and you can have a look at what this offers. Sometimes it's just a one page layout. Other times, like this one, I believe this is maybe multi-page. Well, this is one of the new ones. Okay, so I'll just stick here to about. And then you also have the responsive views up here. So you can go through the previews and have a look at it. If we sort up here, let's go to business. And it will sort for us, I believe. And then, yeah, here we go. Most of the latest ones that have been added are business related. So I'm going to select this one, invoice. And this brings us to our step 7. So step 6 were all these templates that we looked at that you can go through, so many of them. And again, if you are running a big agency and you see there is a specific customer like window washing that keeps on popping up or something like that, or how to put on safety glass for your car windows, or some weird business that keeps popping up in your region, and you feel that there's a great need for your template for that, again, reach out to our support. We'd like to hear from you what you use in real practical situations. So at step 7, one page, one click installation. And this is one of my most amazing features. I cannot believe there was a time we didn't have this, but yes, there was a time we didn't have this. So I'm going to start with this one, and all I need to do is click on start with this design. What Brizy Cloud is going to do now, it's going to create a new project, aka a website, and it's going to import that template, everything ready for you to use. And when I say everything ready to use, if it's a multi-page, it's going to use menus. It's going to bring in all the pages, and it's going to bring in contact forms. And all you need to do is just bring in the integration with the forms and the services, the distribution lists that you are using. Tonight or today, we are using this one pager here that we're just going to look at. So no additional pages, just this one pager as far as I know. And once it is loaded, and you saw that happened within 30 seconds. Quick, very, very quick. This is our page. Everything perfectly brought in, one-click installation. And if I exit quickly, go to the bottom left-hand corner, and I click here, go to dashboard, We're going to return to the dashboard, and you see that this is project number 9. I can call it Webinar Thursday. Today is 21st of August, so just we have a reference. And now I just click again on Edit Project, and boom, we jump right back into it. One of the things I really like when I'm doing these webinars, a few years ago, we've brought in this compiler servers that make sure that these things load much quicker than it did 5-6 years ago. And I can tell you from experience, this is super nice. Loading the one-click installation so quickly and editing, going from the dashboard back. And just imagine you are working with 150 of these websites. How convenient that is. It's organized within these workspaces, and you can jump from one to the other. Just to give you a quick overview here, if you go to the top left corner, sorry, I get confused with left and right quite a lot. Here we have pages, and you can see we just have this one home page here. But look at all these other features. You can create posts, stories, which is Instagram-like stories, pop-ups and alerts. What a powerful feature we have here for automatic conditions. And then this is the latest shop integration that we have here. We have a webinar on that. You can go check it out on YouTube with things like marketing. And you can create custom assets. That's very similar to custom post types. And then your media library. And the media library is where all your action goes, your documents, your images, everything that you're going to bring onto the site, even videos, you can bring into your media library. And that is what happens here within this section. And just if you have a look here at your project settings, bottom left-hand corner, we have all these settings for your site, SEO, and this one that's very popular is also still SEO. This is your social sharing. And then you have system pages. And another popular feature is translation. So all of this multilingual sites, all of this included here in one spot, in one place. That's great. Great, so let's just click outside of this to go back to the page that we've just created and have a look at what we've got here. So we've brought in this template. And this brings us now to a very important part of this whole process in which we are creating a new website, and that is that you have to customize it. Now, I do believe that we often want to say we don't use pre-made starter sites, but I'm very, very guilty of it, especially sometimes when it comes to something that I've seen that just looks perfect for somebody else who also wants to use it. I had to make one for a recipe website once, and I found a demo for it. I'm like, this is great, man. Why on earth do I need to design it from scratch? The other reason why I also like these starter sites is I often look at it and I think, how did they do that? And you get this almost education from how other people see what they can do and how they think outside the box. And this has really helped me as well in promoting how I design and build out my websites. So when you bring this in, there's a number of things that you have to change out. So we're going to look now at step number 8 to customize your text. Now, text with a starter template like this, anything that you want to change text-wise is as simple as clicking on it, and it will highlight the text element in which this text is housed, as well as this contextual toolbar. That's a little bit dark. Let's just click on this one over here, and then you can see much easier. So we have everything on the page, and this again is one of the big features and one of the reasons why I love Brizy so much. Yes, there are many website builders out there, and in many cases, you do need to use others sometimes. For me, one of the biggest difficult parts that I have to get used to when I use any other website builder is the fact that I have all these side menus. They are structured. You have to deep dive into them. Whereas here, I click on the text, I can highlight the text, I can type, and I can make all the changes here. In a few situations, you have to deep dive, and that's when you go into padding and margins, and you do that through your settings here. And you can also use shortcut keys. I think it's Control M, if I'm not mistaken. Control M, yes, Command M, and it opens this, and you also have your effects in the sidebar. And this is where you're going to get your padding and margins. But when you're working with a starter template like this, remember the idea is that kind of all of that has already been set up. You just want to change out the content. So let's go back to the text. As you see, that's a heading. Here I have some paragraph text. I click on it, and all I need to do is change it. So let's say this is an invoice website, invoices for the best. And voila, I have created it, and I just bring in my own text. But don't forget about our new friend, Mr. AI. So this new feature, AI text generation, and of course, you've probably used text generation. AIs by now. I use them frequently all the time. I love them. Some people are still saying, I want to spend the extra X10 time on that in writing my own stuff. I love AI. It makes what I do so much faster, makes me more efficient. Of course, customers also want me to do things quicker in that regards. But what I like here is that I can kind of instruct the AI what I'm looking for. Write a heading. I don't even have to say that, a heading. And often what I will do is I will actually give it an HTML tag. If you don't know what the HTML tag is, don't worry about that. It just tells you the situation, the grouping of how your page is structured. Like your page, the name of your page, like about or services or contact, that is your H1. And then your sections is H2, and your categories under that is H3. So I'm going to say let's just call it write a H2 heading for my invoices services. And I'm just going to say that. I can write a lot more, but you're going to say it's going to do a pretty decent job. I say that, and yep, there we go. It knows a heading is short. It knows H2, what it needs to put in there, right? So it's not going to give you lengthy paragraphs to explain to you all of the invoices and stuff. And look at what it came up with. I mean, really, we could come up with that in our sleep, right? Our invoices services. But it just helps you quickly generate something that if you need to give this to a client and you need to give them just a draft to see what you've done, you can blow their mind away with sentences like this, and the AI is really going to help you. And you can see there's a lot of other features in there. And this is what you do. So for example, you can go here, you can add a little bit more, bring in the text. Of course, if the copy has been provided to you by a customer or by your sister who wants to set up a baking school session for an economic education class, then all of that you're going to add here, and you change your buttons. That is how the text work. The great thing that I also have to just point out here about this, if we go to this T for typography where you set up your font and your size and your bold, you will see here that we have under typography something that says heading 2. And this is a preset. Again, something that because, back, and I'm talking back just a few years ago, we didn't have this global styling options. Actually, it's even longer than that. It still feels to me like yesterday. And every time you had to write a heading, you had to do it heading by heading by heading. And if you wanted to change it, you also had to do it heading by heading by heading. But in this case, I have assigned it a preset of heading 2. And this goes here under global styling, and we'll touch again on that briefly. But I will come here where it says heading 2, and it says it's a sample. And then you can see here are the fonts, the size, the weight, and everything is set here. So wherever on this page, I have assigned text to be a heading 2. If I make changes here now, it's going to make those changes across my site. So over here, where it says our invoices services, this is heading 2, and I'm pretty sure this one here that says send invoices in seconds, I guess. Let's make that in seconds. If I click on T for typography, yep, that's also a heading 2. So again, go to the sidebar on the left, click on styling, select heading 2, and let's change it to normal. And look at that, how it changes very quickly across the site. And this is a great feature. Global styling, love it. We'll talk about that some more now. So text, that is something you need to do by yourself. Of course, the AI can help you with that. Mostly your customer or your own content is going to drive what your copy is going to be on your page. I always have a rule when I work with people is I tell them people don't read, as simple as that. But when they read very carefully. So my message in that is don't overwhelm your audience with text. Don't give them paragraph after paragraph. If you have long documents you want to put online, try and put that on a different page, even make it a downloadable PDF or put it in some kind of reading format. Don't put that on a page like this. Keep it short and straight and simple, but make sure you say what you have to say specifically for those search engines when they are looking for the keywords in your text and your content so that they can make sure that you are shown on search results. That is step 7, or step 8 was to customize our text. Next comes the very important part, is that we have to switch out all those images. Now actually this one have these nice little images for the invoicing. So let's just go ahead and change one of these images. So we have an image up here. Again, just like with the text, click on it and you see the frame around it. The text image is selected and we have our toolbar over here. What I will do is click here on image, and this opens the little box where we bring in the images. And first I will delete this, and voila, that one is gone. Click on upload and this opens the media library that we had previously. Again, this is a feature that's less than a year old, a great addition to Brizy Cloud. So maybe previously when you tried it, you didn't know that we've added this, and even stock photos integration. Actually, I wanted to bring it. Let me show you if you bring one in, how that works. I have an image here, so I'll bring that in. And then we test the stock photos. I didn't prepare for the stock photos, but why not? We can test it. If it goes wrong, sue me, right? Okay, so I brought in the image, and over here you can change the name if you want to. Just click on the edit, change it, and then also you can bring an alternate title down here. I'll click on insert file once I've selected it, and here you go with the image. And all the editing features that you need for the image appears here. So I'll click on the image, I can drag it, I can resize it. And while I was playing around with it, let me just click outside and click on it again. There are so many things that I forget that has been added to Brizy in the last year plus. If I just go to styling, and from the tab here in the sidebar on the right, I can go to transform and activate skew, select it to bring up the settings, and just maybe make it a little bit more interesting, something like that. If I want to make it bigger, I can click on scale. In the past, I used to do this with margins. I just drag the margins into negative, but now I can do it with this scale option here. We can say preserve size, so I think it's just going to scale them universally. So if I drag it up, look at that, right? Very nicely. And then maybe that is not going to work, so we just bring it down to that. So immediately, let's just do it again. Immediately, you just give a little bit of flair to it. I will always tell you this, don't overdo it. Where are my margins? Now I'm messing around. Transform, scale, and these ones are so sensitive. Just drag it 1.2. Just a little bit different. But we've talked about the images, and that's how you bring in your images. PNG. What happens in Brizy is when you upload these images, Brizy is going to render them as WebP. So if I save this site and I update it here at the bottom, I view it on the front end, and I download the image that is viewed on the front end, you're going to see it's a WebP image. So if you were curious about, can it handle WebP? Yes, I would recommend you actually bring it in WebP. But Brizy is going to take care of the optimization of the images already for you. Let's have a look at the stock images. I know I'm going off script here, but I totally forgot about the stock images. Let's delete this one. Click on image, and then we go to stock photos. And currently, it's only Unsplash. More integration coming in the future. So let's see if Unsplash will have invoices. I doubt it. And click on search. The way Unsplash works. Oh, okay, yeah, invoices can work. So let's go some interesting invoices there. If you wanted to make it interesting, click on this one here, a calculator sitting on top of a wooden table, and click on insert. Give it some time to render, and it's also going to resize the image and apply all the settings. And for this one, maybe we can go ahead and even add a border to it. So let's add a little. Ooh, what am I doing there? Oh, that's overlay. Let's just remove it, go to border, and add the border, just to make it stand out. Now, let's go back just to the media library, and that we can do over here. I believe you can also hit Control-Command-L on your keyboard, and that will bring it up, like we have there. And you will see the image has been brought in from Unsplash. Don't worry, it didn't bring in the mega 23 megabyte. It is still at a big size, but once again, once you save this and you preview it on the front end and the compiler has done its work, you're going to see it's a much smaller image in WebP format And that's the way we like it. And this is how you're going to work with images. Everything is sorted here in your media library. I showed you earlier, it's very easy. You drag and drop. You can bring in PDF files. That's a bank statement I'm dragging in there. You can bring that in and you can make it a downloadable file. Everything happens here in your media library. Now that we've looked at text and we've looked at images, let's talk about colors. This brings us back to global styling. Again, in the past, we used to apply colors on a single one-by-one basis over and over all the time. Now we have global styling, and of course, there are so many variants of this on the market, and you can just easily change out the colors. The benefit of the template that you use is that it comes in with global styling applied, which makes it super easy for you to change out the colors to your corporate identity or to the color scheme that you like. And you don't have to go and do it on an individual basis across pages across your site. This will apply across the site. So let's do this just as an exercise, and I often use this coolers.co as a creative tool just to get some idea of colors. And all you do once you've gone into the generator is you hit spacebar and it will give you ideas and you can lock them. Looking for something a little bit more bright that's going to shock our world. Yeah, and of course I'm not going to find the perfect one at this moment. But let's stick to this one. A little bit bland, but we've got some teal and turquoise in there that's going to blow our mind. Now what you have to remember a little bit about color theory, and this is what you're going to find when you use any of these color generators, is you need a dark color and you need a light color. And this is what you're also going to see if we go back. You will see usually the darks are here on the left and the lights on the left. But a few important ones to point out is that the third color from the left is your default color for buttons and icons. If I were to bring in a button or an icon onto my page now, it's going to have this purple color. And the other one you have to remember is the second color from the right. This one over here is your default text color. So that's going to you have to understand that all the text, the paragraphs you see here is going to be this color. All the buttons and the icons you see will mostly be this color. And then the others are for you to play around with. So to show you how that works, I'm going to grab this one. I'll just click there on copy. And let me close these so I can just hop back and forth. And then open the color by clicking on it. And then here is your hex, the name of the color, and just paste it. And I'm going to use these first two and I make them the same. And look at how quickly that updated. That is so quick. Again, very nicely done. Let's grab the next color. I'll go for a light this time, and then we can bring in the rest later. Go back to global styling. I'll keep this one on white. I like to keep one on white all the time. So let's go to this beigey color here and see what this one does. Very similar, just with a tint of red in there, but very similar. So we're not going to see major changes. Let's change the purple. Yeah, let's use this one, or should we use this bright one? Change the purple. I think we need it a little bit brighter for more contrast. And this is where you need to play around with it. And of course, if you had your colors before the time, you will know exactly, yeah, they look okay. It's starting to look a little bit weird with all these weird colors we have here. And then, okay, this is my light. I'm going to grab this one and I'll put this one here. And also here for this text. Right, so things have changed considerably, but as you can see, where we have different contrasts like the text on the light background, which is maybe dark background, it will look like this. So what we need to do is go ahead and just simply click on them and change them and put them on the swatch that we want them, so that if we later want to make that change, let me just click on the whole text there, this is going to be updated very easily. Make a few changes here. And we also have a copy paste style feature that you can work in here. So let's put this, I just want to see if I put this on the blue. Interesting. So things are looking really funky now. I probably would not recommend these colors for an invoicing website. I'm not going to go into these menus at the bottom, but look at how quickly we had styled this out. We had made this our website. We changed the text. We even used the AI. We brought in images of our own. We looked in Unsplash and we messed them up a little bit with a transform and a skew and a scale. And then we brought in those colors and we changed up our global styling. So for the global styling, if you've created this and you want to save this, you think, okay, I don't think the client is going to like this. I rather try another one, but I want to keep this. Then you go to these three dots up here and you click on duplicate. And now you will see it says invoice copy 11. Then you go to edit name and I will call it JPEG mixed up. Just one word and click on the check to confirm. And now you can see, scroll down all the way to the bottom. I have locked that in. While we are here, there are a few of these presets that come with Brizy loaded. So if you just want to see what some of these will do, ooh, I like this one. This is a very nice one. Magazine, no wonder. Then you have graceful, nope, not gonna fly. And then not some of them, kindergarten maybe, right? Garden maybe, oblivion, droid, right? So you can see not everyone is going to work, but some of them may just, bring a spark of creation and make you think of what you can do with it. And this is the default Brizy. And then if you want to go to invoice, now this is not the original one, right? This is the one that we've created. So before you start maybe working on the color scheme, you could save the original template color that you have there. What are these little sparkles next to colors and typography, you ask me? Well, they are also AI generation options. So if you don't like the font that is being used here and you don't like the typography, you can click here on the AI generation and it's going to play around, and it also changed the colors. They are linked for summer. You can see, not too bad, but the colors don't work here. Let's do another color. And maybe there is something again here that is going to spark some creativity. I'm going to undo this. Undo, you do here in the bottom right-hand corner by clicking on this one, or Control-Z, Command-Z, and you can go back. And remember, if you feel you've messed it up, you just go again to your style, and then you've already saved it on invoice, or you can just select JP's mixed up, and that will bring you to that part. That brings us to point 10, which was our styling and our colors. Now, no template is ready. If you don't, no template is perfect. Well, some of them you can go a long way with, and I've done quite a websites like that. But in many cases, you want to bring in something extra, or you want to remove something. I think what we want to bring in here is maybe a team, the team that you're going to be working with. And to bring in a new section on the page, scroll all the way to the bottom and click here on Add a New Block. And this opens this template library for us. You have blocks, pre-made blocks, again, hundreds to choose from. And they come in two styles. You have a light and a dark style. And even though they have this color scheme here, the moment you import them onto your page, it's going to take on the global styling. So I was saying we're going to have a look at team. Let's go here and you see categories. We have all these categories. We have hero, features, contact, call to actions, text, and team. And there we can go ahead and then bring in the team's photos. So this one up here, I think this is very nice, very simple. Let's say we want to use a dark version. I'm not sure it's going to matter. So let's go back to light and I'll just click on it. And it's going to drop this one in here at the bottom where I said add it, and it looks really good. Except we definitely don't want this at the bottom of our page. We need to take this up to a place that is more suitable. So for that, go to this sidebar on the left, and you will see here we have a function for reorder blocks. And what this is going to do, all the blocks on the page going to generate a thumbnail, so you have a quick idea of what is happening on this page and which block is for which content. So all you need to do, click, hold, and drag it, and I'm going to put it in front of the testimonials over here. And now, as you can see on the page, it has updated. Now, what's actually interesting is that the thumbnail here shows a dark version, but I brought in the light version, but I actually like that dark version. So that is something that I can go play around with. Am I going to do that? Come on, why not? Let's put it on dark version quickly. And now I cannot see any of this, but we're going to fix that soon. And put it on light. And unfortunately for these guys, I do have to go change the color just to update them, but very quickly done. And then what you need to do from here on is just again click on these images, delete these images, and bring in your team's images and their information. One new feature that has been added, which I like to do, and I'm quickly going to show you this new feature. Often I like to bring in a team member section like this. I put the team members there, but I don't put their name there. What I do is I hide the name as a kind of a pop-up, a tooltip. It's a feature just rolled out. So how we're going to do that is you click on the image and you go to the settings of the image on the left, and you will see here, there's an option that says tooltip. Click on that and then select enable tooltip. And then I'll add her information, Sarah Tucker. And I wonder if I can add producer. How will that look? And you can see as I do that, it appears up here. So what happens now is if I remove this, just delete that, and somebody comes and they hover and they click on it, it's going to show Sarah Tucker, producer. That is a nice way of freeing up some real estate, providing some context, and it works perfectly on devices like mobiles and tablets as well. I've tested it loads and loads of times. So if you're worried about responsiveness, don't worry about it. Just something I quickly thought of while I was here, a new feature that came out, something that I really like to use. And this is how you work with pre-made blocks. And there are so many. You saw that. Another way I like to do as well is sometimes I go through templates. Now, if you want to add another block, you can click again at the bottom, but also between blocks, you will see this plus, and then you can bring it from here. Now, the layouts next to that are those complete websites that we also offer with the one-click installation. So if I were to go to business over here, this one is invoice. You can see here it appears. It's just one page. So when it says one layout, it's a one pager. This one over here, bill is 5 pages, and you can view them. And this is an about, this is contact, and how it works. Now, what I want to do is I want to use this contact form. I think it's a nice little setup, how they made it. Unfortunately, there's not a pre-made block just for this. I have to bring in the entire page, but I'm okay with it. You know, when I can make something work, I'll make it work. What I'm going to do then is click on import this layout. Be careful not to select replace global styling. What will happen is if you do that, it will take the global styling of Bill, these colors and these fonts, and bring it in. But hey, we feel cowboy style tonight, right? So let's go ahead and click on replace global styling. I just want to see how it looks. So import this layout, and it's going to import this entire layout below all the content that we already have on the page. And then what I will do is I will go ahead and delete all those sections that we don't need. So I just want to have a look at the top. Sure, barely you can see a change. I don't think it changed this audible. Okay, so the color scheme is very close to JP's Mixed Up. Yeah, oh no, it's not that close. But anyway, there we go. JP's Mixed Up is back in the game. To delete all these sections, I go again to reorder, and it will generate the thumbnails for me. And very nicely, all I need to do here is click on the X next to the sections I don't want. This is a nice contact section. Let me delete these. Okay, and then there we go. So contact us now, and we drag contact us now to here. Right, so we kind of messed up. We've broken that one, so I'm going to, now it doesn't make any sense. But I wanted to show you how you can also bring in sections from pre-made templates from other sites that you can play around with. This is also a great feature, our integrated form element, and I'll show you now in a second how we work with elements. So these were pre-made sections, but let's quickly look at how you do things from scratch. Like I said at the very, very beginning, whenever you work with a builder, you've never worked with it, you do need to learn how to do things from scratch so that these changes I'm making now happens in real time for you. Don't have to go and figure them out and drive you crazy. Very shortly, let's add a new block. I'll bring in a new block, and this time we click on create your own. It brings in an empty block for us at the bottom. Click in the middle, and this opens the tray with all the elements that you can use to build it out here on the left. These two at the top is going to create structure. Then you have your essential elements over here, and then a lot of content, a lot of great stuff, social integration at the bottom. I'll click here on columns. I'll bring in a column. and then I'll go to text, and the text element works for both headings as well as paragraphs. So I want a heading and I want a paragraph, I want a button and I want a line. And look at that, all of that, and I'll bring an icon as well. Let's put the icon there, and an image on the right. And look at that, how quickly we did that. We built out that structure there. So quickly, let's do the image, and we can go to add this. We can go stock photo, and let's choose something like working man or working person. Get an image of that. Let's grab this one over here, click on insert file. And in a jiffy, Unsplash has splashed our screen with this image, and I can make changes to it. I'm going to leave it. And then let's start with our heading first. I will call this our services divine, just our services to show you. And then I go to T for typography, and remember, I'm going to put it on heading 2. This is a section title. Don't need to do any styling. It's already there. I'll click on the line. See those little bars? I'll drag it a little bit and then align it to the left. Ooh, let me put it on the, and then let's first change the color so we can see it better. Go to the settings and I'll make it a little bit thicker. Let's reduce it again a little bit. Go to the icon. We do the same with the icon. First, change it out. Let's look for something like calculator. Calculator. I like this one. And we align it to the left. Again, change out the color. Oh, turquoise is not bad. Let's keep that there for effect. And then over here, something about our services. I'm going to tell AI, write a short 20-word paragraph on our, I need to spell correctly, on our invoice super system. The wonder of make-believe, and just change the color so we can read it. Our invoice super system is a powerful tool that streamlines the invoicing process. If I see anybody write super system, I will have my doubts. But hey, there we have it. And then let's also align the button, and I'll bring in some space there. Spacer, look at that, even a spacer. We can quickly just change the spacer like that. Grab our image. And to resize our image, I'll go from original to custom. I know I'm going very fast here, right? But look at that. I'll drag the image like so. And then we go here and we just change the focus point so we can make sure she's in the middle. And then I will go to my column and I will align everything to the middle like so. And for the button, let's say something like find out more. And then from here on for the button, you will go and link it. And this is what the link option is for. In Brizy Cloud, not only buttons link, even columns can link. And when we talk about link, we talk about many features. You can link to a page within Brizy Cloud, external URL or a jump link within Brizy. Then you have a block. So if you want to jump to any other block on the page, you can create a pop-up from here. And that's a webinar all by itself. I love the pop-ups. And then a download file. So for example, this file that I uploaded previously, this PDF, I can put it in there. And then when people click on find out more, it's going to download the PDF. And they are going to be so happy because now they have to read. And we love reading. And there we go. So again, we can go to our reorder and grab our new created block and just drag it up maybe somewhere to the top for our services. But of course, just to remind you, if you go to the add blocks and you go to blocks, you're going to find here under features, services, something like this with icons and different settings are going to work perfectly for this. Now, that is really, in a nutshell, how we went from just a template to making a page. And I do everything so flawlessly because I do this every day. But if you spend some time with it, you're going to be super at this too. Super system, right? It's a powerful tool. Very important here, and I think it's something we still overlook all the time, is responsiveness. Again, great feature about the templates is if you don't have to worry, most cases, how it's going to look on a tablet or a mobile device. The reason for that is the team spent a lot of time to try and make it look good on those devices too. But I did put a condition there and said most of the time, because sometimes, you know, things changes, a pixel change here or a setting change there, and the old template sometimes give those issues. So it's very important you go and test that responsiveness. So if we go to one of the pre-made sections that we brought in, so let's say this one here, Go to the sidebar on the left where you see this little computer screen. Click on it. It gives you the 3 options for desktop, tablet, and mobile. If I go to tablet, you see, it changes very nicely to fit on the tablet. And if I go to mobile, where is it? It looks like this. It is stacked. And these are all the features that you get within the responsiveness. One of the great things is that whenever you are clicking on something within these responsive designs, it's going to give you the options that you can use. It's not going to put in a lot of stuff here that is unnecessary. Everything you can use here. For example, if you want to reverse the columns, it's going to switch them around. You can make it hidden if you want to make it hidden, if there are too many images. And then you can also easily change around the columns if you want to squeeze these guys in next to each other. And there are cases that this may work. For example, even that doesn't look bad, right? That looks like some kind of smart design that I had in mind there. You can play around again with them. And when I go back to tablet now, you're going to see it didn't affect tablet. Tablet is still like that. And I go back to desktop, no changes. Each one to its own. Very important. So for this one that we had created from scratch, again, in most cases, the responsive design is going to be okay. But you have to go and check. So let's go to tablet. You see, I cannot really find fault. Maybe let's make the image a little bit bigger. And what I'm doing here is not going to affect my desktop. I can also change the size of this one. And you see at the top, as I'm dragging this, the column says 60%. If I cannot get it to 60%, I just go to the settings and I type in 60% for that column. And then I go to this column and I'll type in 40%. And same for mobile. By default, the two are going to stack. Now on mobile, you see the space here doesn't work. So what I'll do is I'll click here on disable on mobile. It's going to remove that. It will not appear on mobile. And perhaps I want to switch these 2 columns around, have the image first and then our services. That is responsiveness in a box. And I think I cannot think of an easier way to work with responsiveness, to go through these and just cycle from desktop, tablet, and mobile. Very, very important. Good. So we are here and you are super satisfied with the product you've created. Now you have to send it to your grandma because she's waiting for her knitting website to show what she's done with the latest crochet. And yeah, for sure, I've done that. And they want to see how it looks. But before you do that, you need to go look at it on the front end. So update, and that is the publish down here. Now, in most cases, when you use a template, it's going to come in as published. That means if people have the link, they're already going to be able to see the website. But if you want to keep it in draft mode, just go here to the right and select switch to draft. Now that we've published it, let's go ahead and click on preview. Side note, I'm using Firefox to do this demo in. Most of the time I use Chrome and Edge. I like Firefox, I like them all. Again, it's a matter of you have to make a choice, right? But I like to show this in Firefox just to show people often. It works very nicely in all the browsers out there. And here we go. And there is so much more. We can bring in animation. I know people love animation. I'm not a big fan of animation, but if we just go to this image that we've brought in here of this lady, click on settings and we go to effects, you can see, look at all this animation. We can bounce it in, the image, we can fade in, and then we also even have hover effects. So if you hover over it, wobble or pulse, right? So let's update that. And then click again on the preview option. So we have an entrance animation plus a hover animation. Let's just check if it works. So entrance, she fades in, and then she pulses. So everything is there. And then we have the contact form here at the bottom. It looks a little bit interesting though, right? Very funky for an invoice website. We'll have to look at a little bit more subdued, minimalistic color and typography if we really want to make this an invoice website. Great. So let's wrap this up and then look at a few questions, because this brings us basically to the end, but 2 more things that we want to cover. First one is, how do I publish the site? So at the bottom left, let's click on more and go to dashboard. And this brings us back to the dashboard that we've created here. First of all, this website is a free website. You can create unlimited of these guys. So if you want to do one version after the next version after the next, you can do that. You don't have to pay extra for them as long as it uses the Brizy.site extension. What do I mean by that? Go to the top, in the top right corner, and click on, here, what am I doing? Click here on this little icon here, and that's going to open the preview. And once it previews, you can look here at the URL. You will see it says polar fox 81a blah 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 .brizy.site. So this .brizy.site, these are the free unlimited sites. But once Granny is happy with the crochet website or the knitting website, and you want to make it go live at granny'scrochet.com, then you have to go and give it a custom domain, which you are going to get from any registrar that can provide that. And you do that simply by clicking at the dots here and then go to publish. And from here, you are going to bring in the custom domain under custom domain. Now you can see it says choose. Depending on the plan that you have bought, the amount of custom domains that you can bring in. If it's a personal plan, you can only bring in one custom domain. But if you have more customers, you buy another personal plan. If you have 10 or 150, you just buy enterprise or white label or agency, the one that suits you. We have people that buy, for example, agency time and time and time again, right? Because so many websites with custom domains, if you have that growth database, that is awesome. And from here, you go in, you add your domain, you bring in your CNAME and your A servers. And if you have ever any problems with those things, we have, honestly, I want to say, one of the best support teams on the market. I can count on them during the day. If I run into any issues and I ask them a question, they are quick to help me. No mess, no fuss. Doesn't matter if you are frustrated with something not working or you are not sure what's going on. What a brilliant team. And I would say that is one of the big reasons that if you are uncertain about trying, come on, give it a try, and you will get that kind of support. So if you have a problem by setting up, for example, your custom domain, we are there to help you. That is what we do in terms of how to get started with Brizy in a nutshell. So I think this brings us to the end, and we are 5 minutes short, and we've had a nice little groupie tonight of 15 people. I really appreciate the time. I say night, but I know for most of you it's morning. I can see the red in my eyes, yeah, but it's because of the cold and the heat over here. The generate with AI is amazing too. Christopher, yes. Christopher says generation with AI is amazing too. I like the fact that people, if I read news, I see the idea about AI everywhere. People are still saying AI, and I'm over that. You use it or you don't use it. I think it's done a lot for me. There is still a lot of AI features that are coming to Brizy, and I'm looking forward to that. I think of, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but AI generation for images within the page. I think for text, probably in the future, people will want to bring in their own IPs for the AI they are using, you know, whether it is Grok or whether Meta or whichever. So all those possibilities, they are there in the timeline. How do you connect email forms to, let's say, Contact Monkey? Okay, so MailChimp, Contact Monkey, MailChimp, right? That is all done. Let me quickly show you that. I don't think we have to. Let me just show you. I think if we go back into our project that we've just created, and again, if you have your security key or the API key, depending on what service you are using, you are going to do this in a jiffy. So you go down to your contact form over here, click on the button, and you have your integration all the way to the right. And you can see we have your email notification and then your apps over here. And there is the monkey from the beginning, MailChimp, and the others as well as reCAPTCHA generation in that as well. Great stuff for that. I missed a portion of the webinar. Can I review this afterwards? Yes, there's a test as well. And if you don't pass the test, you have to watch it again. We'll send you the link through email after this, and it will also be on YouTube for you to watch. So no worries about that. How to add a calendar or another product. Okay, so calendar integration, if I think of Calendly, Calendly is no problem. Again, what you're going to do is something like Calendly, if I understand you correctly, in terms of something like a calendar platform. All of these platforms are made so that they can integrate with any website, especially in an HTML environment. If you don't know what this means, no problem. We have an element within Brizy that is a code element. Let me quickly show you. So if I go to add elements and I look here for, it will be here. I have to now think very carefully because I hardly use it, but I'll look for code. No, what is it? Delete. Content, HTML. Is it HTML? It must be here. And my brain can't see it now. Let me just type in HTML. Maybe I see it. It's here. If I go through it, content, animated, lottie, alert, rating, embed, content. Did they remove it? They cannot have removed it. Or am I thinking of WordPress? No, man. Chart, Twitter, LinkedIn, tabs, post, info, breadcrumb. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Image, button, spacer, map, icon, form, line, menu. Okay, I'll figure it out, but it's there. And then you just bring it in and Calendly will display. It's not a problem. It's just like the chats. Many people want to integrate chats on the website. It's the same thing that you will have to do for that. Website designed with Divi. Is there a simple way to recreate it in Brizy? Simple way? No. Unfortunately, no, John. But if you need, I almost offered my help for free. No, not going to work. No, I will say Brizy is the simple way. If you are thinking of redoing any website from any other website to Brizy, the easiest way to do it is Brizy. You just saw what I did. It's going to take, because everything is different. If it was not even on WordPress, you can just convert one website builder to another website builder. Unfortunately, no. But I mean, it's going to take a little bit of work. And then once it's there, everything will work. Thank you. Perfect. So reCAPTCHA and MailChimp are already integrated. But yes, absolutely. They are there. People use them all the time. They are for a few years there. And reCAPTCHA, we were just chatting about reCAPTCHA the other day. Works very great. And that brings us to exactly on the hour. I see you guys are saying thank you and goodbye. I thank you for your time. And I think just before we go, a few things that I just want to say. If we talk about Brizy Cloud in my little epilogue, for me, the important part is it's a one-stop solution. And there are other cases where other platforms may be more suitable. But if you are looking for that one easy, one solution, what I showed you tonight, there is nothing more beyond that, especially when I talk about yellow pages. So many people are looking for yellow pages. They just want to be online. They just want to be found. But you can make it sparkle with all these additional stuff. And now with the shops integration, it's even better for people who are looking for an easy setup for e-commerce and online stores. I love the pop-up builder. If there is one heavy, easy pop-up builder, it is Brizy. Again, why? It's right there and it's done in the same builder. You don't need to create a section and then put the section in a modal and then give the modal conditions. We'll do a webinar on the pop-ups because I love making pop-ups. I don't use them that often because I find them super annoying, so I try to limit their efficiency. But pop-ups are great. We're going to do one on web stories very soon as well. It's an intuitive builder, that thing that I cannot get enough of. It's on the page. How often did you see me go into a sidebar? Very seldom. I can set on my global styling, and if I use a good template with all my padding and margins done, I just need to make a few tweaks here and there. And I want to wax lyrical again about our support team. We listen. We want to hear what our big customers, and if you have a big base and you say, I really need this feature, we really work very closely lately in trying to establish that link and making sure that we can give you things that are really useful. It's a topic for another day. I feel websites are going in a direction where people are bringing stuff that doesn't make sense to me at all. Slide scrolling that doesn't give me an idea of where I am on the page. And so many website builders are focusing on that. I think there's no use. Everything you need, tested and sure, is going to be there. That brings us then to the end of our presentation for tonight. I thank you for your time. And I hope for those of you who still have a day ahead, it's going to be a good Thursday for you. For those of you already in La La Land, in there for Friday. I'll see you there tomorrow. From my side, remember, this will be emailed to you so you can rewatch it again. It will be on YouTube. From my side, JP, then, have a great time. Cheers.